Welcome back to the Pregame Show Network. I'm Tolly Carr. Thank you guys so much for all of your compliments. You have noticed our rebranding, our new graphics, and it's just been a very positive reception. So let's start right there. All right, let's bring in our guy, Uncle Neely. He's still in Jackson, Mississippi for the time being. Big Unc, what's up, man? How you doing?
Man, you got that right. The vacation time is ticking on down, man. We got to report back around Memorial Day weekend, so it's slipping away. Tolly, I am digging the lime green, man. I love it.
Oh, well, thank you, bro. It's it is. I can't be missed. I don't want to be missed. The boy in green. There he is.
It reminds me, Chris Rock. You remember the Chris Rock show when it was on HBO? Not that everybody hates Chris stuff, but he had this show, this skit show that he did on HBO late nights. And he was talking about, how they used to have these Civil War chess sets? Right. He said, what if we had a chess set for the Million Man March, and each month they sent you one piece? and they did a little skit about it. It's like week 5, they showed the scene from the Million Man March, and there was a brother in a lime green suit. And the announcer said, in month 5, you get the brother in the lime green suit.
He had to have some gators. Or at least some Stacey Adams to go with that.
Oh, man, black man from Detroit. Shout out to Stacey Adams.
Well, look, people want to know, Neely. It has been a thing. How long will Coach Prime be in Colorado? He kind of alluded to a bit of a timeline in a video that's on YouTube on the Well Off Media channel. Which I know, look, you're at Well Off Media, you're at the Pregame Show. There's a little cartel of content creators when it comes to Colorado that you love to hang out with. Neely, he said 10 years. Contractually, he's there until 2027 as the deal stands right now. Do you see Uncle Neely in Colorado 10 years from now? Another good, strong 10 years.
Here's what I do see, Tyler. Without putting a number on it, I see Deion Sanders doing what Deion Sanders wants to do. And Deion Sanders is a major part of Coach Prime. Coach Prime will tell you, even his playing days, you had Deion Sanders, you had prime time. So you got Coach Prime in Colorado and you got Deion Sanders in Colorado. And I don't think either one of those entities are itching to leave Colorado. He is happy there. He loves the community. He loves the energy. He wants to bring a national championship, back to that community. Certainly a bowl game appearance, this year. There are the goals. And I think what happens, Tyler, when people see success, that they know that they're going to be suitors and people coming after you. And I think the success that Coach Prime is going to have in Colorado, that phone is going to ring. But they're going to have their pencil sharp, man, because he is happy where he is. So when he alludes on the Well Off Media, shout out to Bucky, Deion Sanders Jr., for capturing that moment. So when he alludes to, I'm happy here and I'm going to be here another 10 years, don't put it past him, man. The guy is happy at Colorado. Things are going great for him there.
And part of the video, they were unveiling an upgrade to the facilities. You can explain it better than I can. But that was the one thing, Neely, that I really, took note of when he took that first tour, leaving Jackson State, getting on the plane right after the SWAC championship game and walking in. And I'm thinking to myself, man, Deion Sanders is rich, but he looks impressed by what he is seeing. And people were trying to tell us at that time, like, Colorado is just a pitiful little place when it comes to the face of college football. What has that been like? Just the resources, the adding on to the resources, the support, and everything that has made it a comfortable position, and one that, and people view Coach Prime as having those, rabbit feet, rabbit legs in the NFL. He'd be there. He'd be there for a good time, not for a long time. So that whole juxtaposition at this point in his life.
Yeah, I think, let me start with that last part first. I think that you also have to look at his career case by case. He will tell you that he wasn't just itching to get out of Atlanta where he was drafted to. Atlanta just didn't do too much. And by do too much, I mean anything to keep him. Atlanta felt like this guy has reached a stature and a status that we can't compete with on the market. So we're just going to, quote unquote, let him go. And so when you saw him go from Atlanta to the 49ers, that wasn't something that was at his behest of doing. The free market did it because where he was did not make a competitive offer or make things known to him that they wanted him to stay where he was. And so when you look at his career, there's quite a bit of movement in there, and people want to take that and make it, well, that's how he's going to be, likely in his college football career. But I just don't see that, being the case, Tyler. And as far as the facilities goes, coaching in the SWAC at JSU and HBCU, where because of historical vestiges left behind, you have just some challenges facilities-wise with funding. And so when you get to Colorado and you're like, oh, man, I was able to go undefeated in conference, 2 SWAC championships, go to 2 consecutive bowl games, with limited facilities. And so whereas Colorado's facilities, may not, compare to where you see as other football, quote unquote, schools compared to where you came from, man, this is unbelievable. And the facilities, they're off the charts. So his eyes were wide open at that equipment room. And he still has done some things, Tyler. You talked about putting his touches on it. When you first saw the coach's office, it was a regular office. You see it now, it's primed out. Where he gets ready, pregame, quote unquote, his locker room was just a conference room, 4 white walls and a table. And you can see that video on the pregame show as well when he first got to see Miss Tyler unveiling it for him. He is putting his touches around that building. And so what led to this discussion was, hey, man, when you get out of here, you're leaving a lot of good stuff behind by the next coach. And that's when his retort was, oh, I'll be here 10 years. Ain't no hurry for the next coach getting this. So you can see these rooms are probably going to be remodeled 2 or 3 more times before Coach Prime is done because he loves where he is, man.
It's interesting. I live, here in Atlanta, SEC country. It's Georgia, it's Alabama, used to be Florida. They've kind of hit hard times. The Big Ten, there's Michigan, there's Ohio State. College football is getting bigger, but it feels like the programs that really run it, like that pool is getting smaller as, if you look back, 20 years ago. But what we have seen in Colorado, Neely, is that there's no shortage of people who will make it there. There's no shortage of attention. It's like the rules of power, right? The rules of power say wherever the power is, you have to travel there. Colorado was not looked at as being a power, but I mean, that changed overnight. Like the people, the resources, the attention is coming there, even though it's not an SEC, it's not a Michigan, Ohio State, or, at least had that aura coming in, but he just created a whole new thing like overnight.
Coach Prime has a gravitational pull like no other in the coaching industry. We have to remember this is a A-list celebrity before he started coaching. This is a guy who has been quote unquote famous since 1986, and the fame has not diminished, it's only grown. So the gravitational pull is to Colorado. It is to the Rocky Mountains. It is to West. Football is the powerhouse in the South and the Southeast, as a hotbed. But now you have this gravitational pull out West, and you're going to see that, in the recruitment footprint. You're going to see it when he travels to plays. You're going to see more games on TV because of him, because people want to see Coach Prime win. And frankly, people want to see Coach Prime lose. It's been like that his entire career. So I think you're spot on, Tyler. That gravitational pull, as far as where the hotbed for college football has certainly pulled toward the West Coast, right there around those Rocky Mountains in Boulder, Colorado, something that you hadn't seen even when they were national champions in the past.
And I feel like there was such a long stretch of, Colorado not really having a current identity. Like, we remember the championship back in the day. If you're old enough, you kind of remember those glory years, with the handful of players that became, household names for their stints, whether it's, Heisman Trophy or making it to the NFL. But there was such a period where it became a blank slate. I don't know, Neely, that, how other schools that might have interests that are so tied into the brand of, their mascot, their school name, like that, like a coach can't kind of like overcome that identity. I just feel like Colorado was like the perfect spot if he was going to make that move when he did coming out of Jackson State, because it was that blank slate and he can just paint on it for the next 10 years if he wants to. And I just don't see any issue there.
Yeah, I agree with that, man. You see that a lot, in politics as well. You have something that's registered in polls called name ID. How many people know your name? And then those people that know your name, what do they think of you, or what do they think of when they hear the name? And you did have for the past 20 years, sort of a blank slate in Colorado, because a lot of people don't remember, Eric Bieniemy, Rashad Salam, what Michael Westbrook did, a receiver, the Hail Mary, the Michigan Miracle from Cordell Stewart. You're talking 30 plus years ago now when Colorado was at its heyday. So you have all these generations of Colorado football being an afterthought. So when Coach Prime arrives, he becomes the identity. Jackson State had a rich history before Coach Prime's arrival, and he was able to add to that and tweak it with his brand. And you have this marriage of icons. Well, when you get to Colorado, because of the historic losing nature of the program and not being broadcast on national TV as far as his games being viewed, something that he changed and has continued to change. Well, you're exactly right. Now you have a blank slate, and now is his icon on it, is his brand on it, and people associate him with Colorado. And, going back to your first question, he's entrenched in it, man. This is not something where he has this exit strategy, after this season. A lot of people are trying to say that, he's never not coached his son, so when they leave, he's going to the NFL, or, that he's going to go on to someone else that's going to offer him $100 million or more. And I do believe when the winning comes, those offers are going to come. But I'm also just telling you that from a space of peace and happiness and enjoying what he is building there in Colorado, and wanting to bring a national championship back to that school, and wanting to be the first black head coach to win the national championship, he's not looking to leave Colorado anytime soon.
And he's aware of the bag. He knows how to secure the bag. But Neely, he's never given me the impression at this stage in his life that he's chasing a bag just for the sake of chasing a bag.
At all. People have to understand this. Coach Prime don't like cold weather. And he chose Colorado. And Colorado was not the highest financial offer that he had on the table. So he turned down more money and to go to a cold environment because that's where he was called to be, to make a difference. And that's what he believes firmly in, in his faith and something he wears on his sleeve and doesn't shy away from it. So when you see a guy from Florida who's never in an NFL played in a snow game, doesn't like when the temperature is below 40 or 50 degrees practice-wise, but he accepted a job in Colorado for less money? Come on, man. Like, it ain't about the bag. It's about what he's trying to build, and he's building something there. And I don't think he's leaving until he's finished building it and adding on to that.
Well, Coach Prime said it. Cameras were rolling. He said a good, strong 10 years left in him in Boulder, Colorado. Let us know what you think, how you feel about that. I know the comment section is already jumping because that's what you guys do. Neely, people are always intrigued at what you have to wear via your shades, your hat, your clothes. I see father. We always call you Unc. Was father figure. Okay. All right. There you go.
Shout out to Father Figure Apparel out there, man. Just representing a cool brand and concept, celebrating fathers, whether you are a coach, a mentor, the impact of fathers and positive role models. Never can say enough about it. Always going to rock Father Figure Apparel. Shout out to them.
All right. I've got to be a father figure to our director, Miles. Miles, when Neely starts showcase, you got to take him full screen. You don't need me in the 2 box, Miles.
Do it right, Miles.
Come on, Miles. Well, there you go.
Father figure. Yeah, all the types of fathers there. Shout them out, man. Father Figure Apparel. I like the way you're a father figure to not only your own children that you get the peanut butter and jelly sandwiches to, but to Miles in the studio. You're doing a great job.
Ask Miles what I put in the refrigerator here at the HBCU Game Day Studios. Is peanut butter and jelly, the Smucker's frozen kind, but Uncrustables. Nothing but zero sugar drinks, Miles says. I'm looking out for these kids, man. I'm looking out for them, Neely. Somebody has to. Somebody has to.
Because you're a father figure.
Mm-hmm. And I know Miles is real daddy, so I know I got to look out for him. Shout out to Scoville. All right, Neely, Jackson, Mississippi. You are watching the New Look Pregame Show Network. We appreciate all your support. Make sure you keep it locked in. Lots of great content coming your way.